universal.
But speaking of, you said that the bonfire night coincides with St. Joseph's feast day?
St. John,
St. John.
yeah,
So
John the Baptist.
Well, it would have coincided with it. We would have been a pagan fest and then the Christians would have adopted it.
Yes.
But why did they choose that particular saint to make that day his feast
It
day?
didn't really matter. As long as it wasn't a pagan god.
Would there be some symbolism in the saint that they chose for that day?
Well, I think, we don't know for sure, but it seems like what looks like may have happened is they moved the fire ceremonies and leaping through the fires and all that stuff to the midsummers rather than to the summer solstice, the June festival, rather than the 1st of May festival. And called it, instead of the summer solstice and to do with the sun, the Feast of St. John. So the bonfire night in Ireland now is often known as St. John's night. But really,
I thought they'd probably pick a saint that had the characteristics of the pagan god so that people would identify with and just transfer their loyalties from the pagan god to this.
So instead of it being on May 1st, and it just happened to be St. John's Day that they moved it to.
well, I think they probably chose St. John's Day. St. John's feast day would have preceded the move of the fire stuff, the bonfires night, so to speak, St. John's night. They just couldn't get rid of it, so they Christianized it, and they moved it to the St. John's night, the midsummer, rather than May Day.
It was interesting that when they showed on TV, on the web, you could see the summer solstice live on the web. And it was interesting because, and I didn't realize this, they said the sun came up about 3 or 4 minutes later than it would have 3,000 years ago because the Earth's rotation had changed. So
Right.
It was 6 degrees off.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the procession or progression, whatever the procession, yeah.
Progression of light into the
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, so that is a factor.
Just back, staying on that question, the solstice, was that a time when they brought the cattle down from the mountains or vice versa? Was that part of the ritual, why they had these ceremonies at the solstice? Because it was a time for customs to change or habits to change.
Well, in the old pagan world, it wasn't at the solstice, as I understand it. It was at the midpoint between the equinox and the solstice, because that was what was considered to be. And in fact, the full moon closest to that was the actual when they celebrated it. Because remember, they used both the sun and the moon to set important dates. But the Christians, in order to put as much distance between it and Baal, they kept the tradition, but they moved it to a much more innocuous date.
But did the Celts use these events to signify agricultural events that had to occur at a certain time?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah,
they
probably
did.
change the routes, change the patch on the routes, bring the cattle down to the mountains or vice versa.
Yeah,
But
but
fish out for the winter.
I don't know about fish, but
Whatever they do.
yeah, but
Fish Day.
but May Day is makes a lot more sense from an agricultural calendar than 24th of June.
Yeah, that's true.
Pardon?
That's true.
You know, so again, it was just the Christians trying to de-paganize the ceremonies and to Christianize them and to move them away from any significance with the earth, sneakily, if you like, just push them off. Yeah, we'll celebrate that, but we're going to do it in June, which, no longer has any meaning. Again, a politician would recognize that in an instant, where you don't kill off something, you just continue it, postpone it, kick it around till it loses it loses any meaning.
Fades away.
So you've killed it by messing with it. So that's kind of what they did. And that's why I think, I like, Anne, your suggestion of reviving Bealtaine, the real Bealtaine. Yeah.
So when was the real Bealtaine? Was that June or
May.
Well,
1st of May.
And don't let Corona
Yes.
take it over.
Yeah.
No, it's our birthday. Maybe
Or Guinness. Or
We can name a beer called Bealtaine, We can,
yeah,
patent the
We
name.
could
Huh?
support. We say it's an aphrodisiac.
Well, it is.
Special brew once a year.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's an interesting thing in here, just to, about the wells, the rest of the wells. This is interesting. It says this was in 1930. Oh, okay, previous century. Well remembered that those who had a sick cow
Yeah.
brought a roll of butter and placed it beside the well,
Oh, sure, yeah.
while others hung cow chains or ropes in the tree which grows.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing all these rosary beads and
And then
stuff.
rounds were made around the pool, and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
There was a spring in,
So like a lump of butter from the sick cow.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
so it's like leaving it for the fairies or the gods or something like that.
Something, yeah.
Well, you go into any Baroque Spanish churches and you'll see little effigies of arms and legs and stuff. People probably
Hmm.
praying for-
But some of these wells
We
apparently.
don't have any wells around here though. That's the problem.
Well, no.
We have, what do we have?
I don't know.
No, no.
Was it on Valentine that they would bring
Well, this
that?
is about Lewis, so this is most, but it goes into, talks about it.
But it's similar. A lot of because as I said, they got moved around a bit, got distorted, but the underlying beliefs, the earth beliefs, are still very real. But the connection with the earth, and herbalists will tell you, that things happen when you hold certain herbs and things near to your body. They talk to each other.
Sure, yeah.
So, and that's under the incredible cloud that we've put on ourselves. Can you imagine back then when literally everything was organic, and especially in Ireland, they didn't even use stone very much. They just built everything from trees and wicker wood, every single thing. That's why there's so little of it has remained. If you look at the ring forts, yeah, everything that would have been in there would have been made from something that was cut. The baskets, all of the, what would I say, the battlements, or not battlements, but all of the it's all wood, that it was all
Like
patched,
the fences or the pickets around
Yeah.
the fort.
whatever you call that would be
Stockade?
stockade, yeah, exactly. Every single thing in there was made from something that grew in the neighborhood. Rushes, that's what they slept on. I mean, everything was made from a natural fiber, a natural growing, something that grew. So they were out cutting bulrushes, rods. They made the most incredible things with sally rods. And there's a
Rod?
sally, yeah.
What is that?
It's a very flexible. No, it's stronger than a rush. It's not a rush.
It's not
No,
an
it's not a
offshoot
weed
from
either.
a
No,
tree,
it's a-
it's
it's a-
sucker.
Huh?
It's a reed? Is
No,
it?
no, it's not. It's a bush. It's a tree.
Okay, so it might be like the offshoots of a tree or something like that, sapling?
Well, it's if you look at them in the ground, what they are, they're kind of like stubby. The older they are, and they grow very long stems, just straight shoots up, and they have a bit of green at the top. So you cut those off, and you cut them in a way. You cut them in a certain way that they grow again, and then the new ones grow up. So in every farmer or every house had an area where they grew their sally rods. Sally. You didn't know this?
No. Oh, no.
Holy
This is
mackerel. Huh?
California. If we grow grass, we're lucky.
Wow.
Smoke it because
No, I've never heard of a sally rod.
And usually it was along the creek, somewhere where there was plenty of water, because they used a lot of water. And younger ones were relatively small, but they just grew and grew. So you'd see the old cuttings from previous years, and they just got thicker. And then all the new ones, and they would go down and inspect them early in the year. Oh yeah, nice crop of sally rods, and then the man would go down, and it was a very careful way to cut them, because they grew again. If you cut them straight across like that, you were a barbarian. There was just a right angle that you cut them. So you came then to the house or to the woman, and you had all these nice little sally rods, and they cut them up into sections, and they made, depending on the different widths, because they tapered off a little bit, and just cutting them and then weaving them into baskets. Everything was made from those. The furniture was made from those. The baskets that the donkeys carried, the cleves on either side, because they would have a sort of a pad of straw, and they would have a straw rope around that, and then they would have baskets on either side made of sally rods, right? And they were called cleves. So almost everything was carried with the donkey and cleves.